Hello, and welcome to the Fast Book Pod channel, where you'll find the best book summaries. You'll watch book summaries just like watching a movie. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos for in-depth reviews of great books. Let's get to the book summaries.
All right. Let me tell you the story of the trial. Slowly, clearly, like I'm sitting across from you and trying to make sense of it together. Because this isn't just a plot. It's an experience. And once you enter it, you don't really leave untouched. The trial der Prozess was written by Franz Kafka, and like much of Kafka's work, it feels unsettling from the very first line. The novel begins with one of the most famous openings in literature. Josef K wakes up on the morning of his 30th birthday and is told he is under arrest. No dramatic police chase, no handcuffs, no prison cell. Two warders simply appear in his boarding house room and inform him of his arrest. And here's the part that immediately disturbs you. They do not tell him what he is accused of. He asks, of course, he assumes there must be some mistake. He is a respectable man, a chief clerk at a bank, responsible and disciplined. But the warders remain vague. They say they don't know the charge. They are only minor officials. The court will handle everything. Even stranger Josef K is not taken away. He is allowed to go to work. He can move freely, but he is under arrest. This paradox sets the tone for the entire novel. Josef K is trapped, but not physically. He is caught in something invisible. At first, he reacts with irritation more than fear. He treats the situation as absurd, almost comical. He assumes that once he speaks to someone reasonable, the matter will clear itself up. He still believes in logic, in systems, in order, but Kafka slowly dismantles that belief. Soon, Josef K receives notice of his first hearing. There is no formal summons delivered in an official envelope. Instead, he is told verbally to appear on Sunday at a certain address. The location turns out to be a poor tenement building in a rundown district. He climbs stair after stair, asking strangers which room is the courtroom, until he finally stumbles into a crowded, suffocating attic space filled with people. This is the court. There is a magistrate at a desk. The room is packed with observers. It feels chaotic, theatrical, unofficial, yet somehow entirely serious. Josef K is not given details about his charge. Instead, he is expected to respond to accusations he cannot see. So he does what he knows. He defends himself. He gives a passionate speech criticizing the absurdity of the court. He accuses it of corruption and incompetence. For a moment, it feels bold, even empowering. But nothing changes. The court does not argue back. It does not clarify anything. It simply continues. That is when the anxiety begins to take root. As the story progresses, Josef K tries to navigate this strange legal system. He discovers that the court offices are hidden in the most unexpected places. Attics, cramped rooms, dusty corridors. Clerks work in suffocating air. Papers pile up endlessly. Everything feels both organized and completely rotten at the same time. He hires a lawyer, Huld, through his uncle's insistence. Huld is sick, bedridden, theatrical. He claims to have influence in the court system, but he never explains how. He speaks in vague reassurances. The case is progressing. These things take time. Patience is necessary. Patience, that word becomes almost sinister, because while Josef K waits, his life begins to shrink. At the bank, he cannot concentrate. His confidence weakens. He becomes suspicious of others, wondering who might be connected to the court. The arrest, which once felt absurd, now feels heavy. It begins to define him. And here's the psychological shift that Kafka portrays so brilliantly. Even without knowing his crime, Josef K starts to feel guilty. This is one of the most disturbing aspects of the novel. The system never states the accusation clearly, yet its mere existence plants doubt inside him. He begins to question himself, not because he remembers committing a crime, but because he is being judged. Constant accusation creates internal guilt. Through his interactions with court officials, painters, minor clerks, and the lawyer's assistant Lenny, Josef K learns something horrifying. Almost no one is ever fully acquitted. There are only 3 possible outcomes: apparent acquittal, temporary, reversible, protraction, endless postponement, or actual conviction, which no one survives. The court is not interested in truth. It is interested in process. One of the most powerful scenes occurs in a cathedral near the end of the novel. Josef K enters expecting to meet a business client, but instead encounters a prison chaplain. The chaplain tells him he belongs to the court. He warns Josef K that his case is going badly. Then he tells him a parable called Before the Law. In the story, a man seeks access to the law. A gatekeeper stands before the door and tells him he cannot enter at this moment. The man waits. He waits his entire life. He tries to bribe the gatekeeper, to persuade him to understand the system. He grows old, sitting before the door. Just before he dies, he asks why no one else has tried to enter. The gatekeeper replies, "This entrance was meant only for you. Now I am going to close it." The implication is devastating. The law was always there. The door was his, but he never crossed it. Josef K tries to interpret the story. Is the gatekeeper deceiving the man? Is the man deceiving himself? Is obedience the mistake, or is resistance useless? Kafka never answers. As the novel approaches its conclusion, Josef K's energy drains away. He dismisses his lawyer, believing he can handle the case himself. But there is no strategy that works. There is no appeal that matters. The court is infinite and faceless. On the evening before his 31st birthday, 1 year after his arrest, 2 officials arrive at his apartment. They are polite, almost gentle. They do not drag him. He follows them willingly. They walk through quiet streets to a quarry outside the city. There, without ceremony, without formal declaration of guilt, they execute him by stabbing him in the heart. His final words are simple and devastating. Like a dog, no explanation is given. No verdict is announced. And that is the end. Now, here's the thing. The trial is not really about law. It's about existence inside systems we do not understand. It's about bureaucracy that has no face, authority without transparency, guilt without crime. Many interpret the novel as a metaphor for modern society, where individuals are trapped inside institutions too large to comprehend. Others see it as a religious allegory, humanity standing before divine judgment without knowing its sin. Some read it psychologically, the internal court of conscience that never reveals its standards, but constantly accuses. What makes the novel so powerful is its atmosphere. The air always feels heavy. Rooms are cramped. Corridors twist endlessly. Conversations are circular. There is no clarity, no solid ground. Kafka creates a world where logic exists, but only inside a distorted framework. Everything makes sense to the system, but not to the individual. Josef K never discovers his crime because the crime may simply be being human or being born, or trying to seek meaning where none is given. And that final image, a man executed without ever understanding why, stays with you long after you close the book. That's the trial. Not just a story of a man accused, but a story of how fragile certainty is and how terrifying it is to stand before a system that judges you without ever telling you the rules.
It was a very good book. Did you like it too? You can write your thoughts in the comments section. See you in the next summary.